And we are ready to begin. We are so pleased you're here, and we've waited for you your entire lives. We say that always, and it doesn't matter if you have heard us before or if this have been many times that you have heard us. We're telling you this today because we wanted you to understand that you have everything you need to manifest this really brilliant life and a great world. But the only problem might be that you don't believe yourself. That's all. That's the only reason any of you do not have the lives that you could live or manifest the world that you all want to see. So we thought that we would jump in here today to give you something because we knew where you would be today. As you can see from the message that we have on the screen from last year on this day, we knew that you would be able to hear us a little bit more today because you would see these events happening in your lives and in your world. And the only reason they're occurring is because you haven't taken the next step in owning who you are, in loving yourself, in doing what you came to the world to do, because that's the energetic contribution that you will make. Now, we're saying that we're doing it on this day because you will see events happening in your world today and for the next several days, and especially in the United States, as we have said, because you're moving through a restructuring, meaning you're trying to create something new, something better. And the only way that you can accomplish that is when you decide to look at what we have on the screen and move over your guilt, shame, and embarrassment. Because you all have it. You have ancient memories that you've carried forth that were limited, that were restricted, that you wanted to move beyond. Because if you did that, you would have a much different time now in your lives and also in your world. And this is the work that we have given you. And we've proven that it works because we have a being who's now healed, who's gone through everything that you can possibly think of and that has held you back. But we're saying, no, that's a limitation you have bought. That's something that you started to believe, and it is not real. Throughout your history, you will have beings who come into your world who will give you new information that helps you uplift humanity. And that's what we have done with our being. And it's taken us 35 years to give him all of the information. But he, like you, has stopped himself because it was sort of shocking what happened to him through this work, because all of these things that he healed, that's not possible. And this is what we wanted to give all of you. Everything is possible, but you stop yourselves because you become limited, and that you have been limited, and you keep believing that. That's what we're saying. So you're here now. The why we've said you're having a restructuring in your world is so that you can create something new and better and more. And it can only happen if it comes through you. There is no one who has more ability or power than another. And we're saying that, and we've said it many, many times, because when you can understand that within you is this immense energy and power that you could manifest the life that you want to have, and that would permeate your world. It has to happen that way because that's how all humans are created. You just figure that out and discover it over time and over civilizations. We have given you a new way. We told you it's called your life operating instructions. That means you have to move in a new way now if you hope to create that better world that you want to have. And we've done something else, as we always do before we have our messenger give you information. We had him put several things out that we gave you 2 years ago. One, when we talked about him using fifth dimensional thinking, because that's what you all want. And we've given you that pathway, but you just might not believe it. But the other thing we're talking about this now is because there is a time that is moving through your world now where more of you need to uplift yourselves in greater ways. You need to become more abundant. You need to become more expansive. And that's all the work that we have given you far beyond 2012, but we wanted you to understand that's when we had you all connect. We have given you all your birthday messages, and you can't figure out how that happened. We are connected to cosmic consciousness. This is why it works for all of you. When there are branding Roger's website, we want you to understand this because it's always this question: what is this work? What is it supposed to do? It is giving the individual the ability to manifest the life that they want to have. And if they do that, then they pass that on to the generations that come later. That's how evolution works. And this is what we have given you. And we have said before, we've given you an encyclopedia. It's including all the personal development, self-actualization, and ascension guidance that anyone anyone would ever need. It's just that you have to believe that you can do it. And we're saying this because our being was shocked at the healing that has occurred, but he has done something else. And this is what many of you have done, is why you feel guilty, is that you haven't owned who you are. You haven't given it back to others because you're still moving through your embarrassment or shame of what you've experienced, which is why we wanted you to understand some of that is not yours. Some of that you inherited and that you brought it into the world. Now, you're moving through a period where many in your world will not want to look at those older things that you have done in your past that were not helpful, and they're trying to cover them up and put them away. That is never helpful. There's information there that you could use so that you don't have to repeat it. This is what we have given you. We've given you a pathway to move over, to transcend all of those lower vibrational ways of being, thinking, and acting, to uplift yourselves and your world. And we're saying this now because we're going to take this much larger now, because our being has finally accepted what he has. And we're saying this because that is the difficulty you each have, which is why the other day we gave you a message that said self-acceptance is a process. You never get there because there's always more. You're eternal beings, so there's no limit to what you might accomplish or achieve. And it's kind of fun to just figure out what that might be. We have given you that pathway. But as you look at your lives and your world today, you will decide what action you're going to take. Where are you going to move? We have told our being that he has to move now and take our work to a much larger place because he has done what many of you do. You think that you can change others and you cannot. You have to become willing to change yourselves, especially during this time. That is not your job to change another, but it is your job to change yourself. Love who you are, honor who you are, and decide that you're going to prosper. We're going to have him be the example for all of you, which is why we have given you all of this work. And what you will do is take this and make something more out of it and give it to others, and that's how you all will ascend.